In life, we encounter people every day, all of whom have stories to share. We rarely take the time to ask people their personal stories, many of which will touch, move, and inspire us in some way. Matt has a passion for making authentic connections and learning about people from all walks of life. He has lived a life of giving back to the community and making a difference in people's lives. Are you ready to meet fascinating people and hear some inspiring stories? The Matt Hilton Show will introduce you to a world of possibilities you never knew existed. Sit back, be present, and enjoy. Here's your host, Matt Hilton.
Hey everyone, Matt Hilton here, the host of the Matt Hilton Show. Thanks for tuning in. Today's guest is an acquaintance of mine who was introduced to me, and he's gone from living in Oak Cliff to living in Nakona and going into the Marine Corps, and now he owns his own real estate investment business. So you don't want to miss this episode. Stay tuned for a word from our sponsor.
Inspired, experienced, customer-focused. Find a mortgage that fits your needs with Maria Leach at First United Bank Mortgage, specializing in construction and closing all types of loans, including jumbo, portfolio, conventional, FHA, and VA. A tenured team, outstanding service, competitive programs. Finance your dreams with Maria Leach at First United Bank Mortgage. mleach.firstunitedteam.com, 214-316-7915. mleach at firstunitedbank.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Today's guest is a acquaintance of mine that was introduced to me by a good friend, Lindsay. And so Joseph Kimbrough is here with me today. And Joseph, thank you so much for being here and being a guest on the Matt Hilton Show.
Oh, yeah, thank you for having me on.
Yeah, for sure. So we were talking a little bit, getting ready to come on, and we were talking about travel. So let's open up with that. So you live in Tanzania?
Yep, Tanzania for 3 months.
For 3 months.
In
or
2022.
Like in 2022?
Yep.
All right.
And I went there for a month in 2021.
Okay. So what took you to Tanzania?
So initially, after the whole pandemic, being in the house, nothing to do, me and my girlfriend at that time, we was like, well, we want to go do something else. Mm-hmm. And then she was like, let's go to Tanzania. So I was like, all right, Tanzania it is. And then we just literally went. Stayed there for a month, but that first experience going there, we got there at midnight. So this is my first time out the country.
Oh, okay.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. So we get there at midnight and we go into the building. I had been in real estate for a while already. So we go into the building, I start immediately checking foundation issues. It's like a skyscraper. It kind of like goes with the wind a little bit. Get upstairs to the room, I see termites had been there. Then they open up a room with a guy in there, he screams. And so I'm just like, we're not staying here. We go downstairs, we're like, okay, so what we do? Because they speak Swahili, we speak English, we don't understand each other. And it's at midnight, by the way. We see, and so we look, I'm talking to the guy, I see her face. She sees this rat, because I see a rat, about the size of a cat, black fur. I'm like, the tail was at least 6 inches long.
Wow.
I'm like, I looked at the rat looked at me, I looked at her, I said, keep your bearing. I'm like, don't scream. It's like a sign of weakness. And so literally, I take the guy's phone, I said, I'm about to find the nearest Marriott, something. You gotta have something out here. And so ended up getting the driver and made it over there, and the rest of the trip was great.
Wow, so how did you find the hotel? The first one?
I went to like his Google.
Oh, okay.
Because I couldn't understand it, but I can understand it. Because Marriott don't translate to many languages.
Right.
So that's the easiest hotel to find.
There we go. So the one with the rat and the termites, how did you find that hotel?
She was looking.
She was just looking.
Yep,
okay.
And the person had not had updated pictures. So they had pictures when it first opened. Everything looked fine. We get there, looked nothing like the pictures. I was like, we're not doing this.
Yeah.
Not again. So we found a place out there, and then after the hotel, and we ended up just sticking with that place this time for the full 3 months.
Wow, fantastic. So what was your favorite thing that you did while you were there?
So my favorite thing doing out there was the safari, because we saw every animal. My favorite animal was the lion. So I got to look him straight in the eyes. He deferred. Then literally, I went out there in the middle of the Serengeti. It was a tree where a jaguar had killed an animal. You could see the remains of the animal. I didn't notice it until I looked down. But I can say that, one, I peed near a hippo pool in the middle of the Serengeti, and underneath a tree where there was a jaguar.
Wow.
while a cheetah was killing another animal. And then the guys like, hurry up, get in the vehicle, get in the vehicle. And then we got to see like the mother cheetah killing off the gazelle. And then we saw all her cubs come in. Man, they just grabbing them, dangling, having the thing just dangle through their mouth, playing with it. And then they finally take it to a bush and eat it.
Wow. I've always wanted to go on a safari, and that is on my bucket list for things to do here in the near future. But yeah, so you went on a safari. You were telling me that you went over to see where your ancestors, came from, and things of that nature too. And then it was a religious type of a experience as well. So tell me a little bit about that.
So also like with the whole ancestors thing, like obviously like people were brought over here on ships and stuff. So we went to I think it was Zanzibar. We was at Zanzibar, yeah.
Okay.
Which means the cost of black people. That's the actual name of what it means. And so when we was there, we got to see like the last view of what the captives would have saw before being shipped to the like Jamaica and the islands in America, England, and places like that. So we got to see that. Got to see the shackles, stand in there like where it was like super hot at. Got to see like the room that came about this high. That pretty much where they held 50 men, 75 women. What they turned into a church, but was originally a trading part, where they would put people there and say, "Hey, I'm paying X amount for this person here." So we got to see all that stuff and learn a lot of the history.
Wow, fantastic. And you were telling me about a different type of Bible that you read here versus. Tell me a little bit more about the religious part of it.
So for me, going over there, just learning more about myself. I started reading the Bible here called the Sefer. It has 87 books. Pretty much, that's about, the regular Bible has 66. So yeah, that has 87. So that's more in depth of stuff that you might not see in the regular Bible. You're not going to see it in the regular Bible.
Yeah.
And so just going over there, just learning more in depth. And then, like I said, I plan on going to Ethiopia this year to read the Ethiopian Bible, just to confirm some stuff that might be in this one.
So where does that passion come from? Does that come from grandparents, parents? Like, where did you pick that?
So when it comes to the Bible, I would say more so growing up, just wanting to know the truth. Because like when I was going to church, we went to like a Baptist church, and I saw them do most of like the dancing and stuff and the praise, and I'm like, I was like, I don't know. I was like, let me read more into this. I need to read more into this.
Yeah.
I've always been more curious as a kid. And then with my godmother who raised me, she had marched with Martin Luther King Jr., so I got to learn a lot with her. She was with civil rights and stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Fantastic. Well, let's go there for a minute. You just brought up your childhood, and so what was your childhood like? You said your godmother raised you, so what happened early on in your childhood?
Well, what happened early on in my childhood was when I was born, my mom was 16,
Okay.
and my dad, he was older, and so I was pretty much adopted by my godmother, and she raised me until I was 13 in Oak Cliff, South Oak Cliff.
Okay.
So I grew up right down the street from South Oak Cliff High School on Marsalis in Genoa.
Okay.
And I went to school, but the thing is early on I got in a lot of fights and stuff because I always wanted to go and be more with my mom. I knew I had seen her, so I just wanted to like literally get from that place and go be with her. And so, yeah, I fought my way out of DISD until I could no longer go to another school in DISD. And then I moved to the suburbs in Louisville.
And that's where your mom was?
Yep.
Okay.
And so, yeah, she came and picked me up. My godmother called her, said, look, I can't have him here anymore. He's getting in a lot of trouble, different kind of fights in school and stuff. And by the time I was 7th grade, I'd already been in over 100-some fights. So, yeah, it was like, it's time for him he has to go with you. He needs you now.
Yeah. I will make sure that I don't make you mad during this interview because your arms are pretty big, and I've never been in a fight. So if he's been in over 100 fights, like, yeah, I know who would lose that one. So, so when you moved to Louisville, how was that transition? Because if you haven't lived with your mom and now you're living with your mom, like, how did that work for y'all?
So I went from being very strict raised with my godmother, Whereas being in Oak Cliff, she was more so, I don't want somebody shooting at you or you getting around the wrong people and doing the wrong stuff. So I was confounded to the house. I remember school, house, no basketball practice. I didn't get to play basketball until really my freshman year, organized basketball. So when I moved with my mom, it was more freedom. So she was like, hey, like you was raised right, I trust you. So I could go out, I might stay out to like 10, 11, come in. But one time she got me though, because I saw her car and I knew I was in trouble because she was at work. And I was out, and it's like my first couple weeks out there, and it was like a girl. And then I was out, and my mom saw us out there in the open area, and I was kissing her. And then the minute I walked in the house, my mom was like, "Pow! Don't be doing that stuff. You're not coming out here getting in more stuff." New trouble.
Right, new trouble.
Yeah, new trouble. So I was like, okay.
Yeah. You heard her loud and clear.
Heard her loud and clear.
Yeah.
I avoided that.
There you go.
Yep.
So assimilating into a new high school, I guess, at this point?
No, so I was in 7th grade when I moved with my mom.
Okay.
So more new middle school. So it was like,
Okay.
I think it was Durham. Yeah, so meeting new people, how they spoke, how they dressed. I came over there, I was still trying to wear my stuff the way I would wear it in Oak Cliff, and it wasn't mixing. It didn't look right.
But you were being you.
I was being me,
Right.
and I was like, nah, this not, nope. So I had to change. I changed.
Okay. Well, you seem to turn out to be a good young man, right?
Oh, yeah,
and
definitely.
So I want to hear more about like your high school experience and what did you do after you graduated?
So high school experience, I played basketball, and I graduated from a school in the country called up near Oklahoma called Nocona, Texas.
Okay.
Where they make they make the Nocona cowboy boots
boots.
there. Yep. So I went there, graduated in a class of 63 students.
Okay.
Complete different.
Yeah.
By the way, when I was there, I was literally the only black person in the 50-mile radius. So I was like,
So what took
wow,
you
that
to
was
Nocona?
different. Basketball, just wanting to go play for like the coach. I liked the coach, and so I was like, well, I'll go move up there because, he was cool. His son was my trainer.
Okay.
So it just made sense. And yes, I went out there, played for him for a year, and met one of my best friends out there who's from Montenegro.
Okay.
And he lives in Montenegro right now, but we still talk.
Yeah. So did you have family in Nocona?
No family in Nocona. Just me and my mom. We was out there.
Okay. So she moved from Louisville to Nocona. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
And then
There
the
we
minute
go.
I graduated, she left. Yeah, she
She'd
was
had
like,
enough,
she's
yeah.
like, I'm going back to Dallas, where we have things to do. Because when I tell you, it was nothing to do out there. The highlight is Dairy Queen.
Okay.
And maybe a barn party.
Right.
Which,
Right.
and I've been to one, so I can say I checked that off the list.
So explain. I just got to ask, what is a barn party?
Basically, it's like out at a barn,
Uh-huh.
random barn, like people, they're having a party, drinking,
Okay.
yeah,
Dancing,
dancing, that kind of
yelling. Yeah.
stuff. Yeah. So I went, I was like, oh, this is what this is like. I was like, well, I'm gonna stay out of trouble. I'm not coming to another one.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So I want to ask and explore a little bit with you. I mean, you say you're the only black person, I'm assuming, besides your mom, like within a
Yep.
50-mile radius
Yeah,
of Nocona.
in Nocona.
So what is that like? Like, me being a white male, I don't experience, like I have never been in a situation where I've been the only white person in a 50-mile radius, right? So,
Me, I was cool with it.
okay.
I didn't care. Yeah, I was cool with it. I was out there. I got along with everybody. I still talk to a lot of people. Still, they're on my Facebook, they're on my Instagram. We still talk now.
So what is that inside of you, Joseph, that gets you to that place where you were cool with it, you made friends? Like, there are some people that I know that they make a big deal, right, of being a minority in any type of situation. And I just want to hear from you and maybe give some encouragement to some of our listeners and viewers of, what was it in your mindset or in your soul that
Yeah,
brought you to that place?
I would say for me, what made me just be kind of used to it, just getting out there, and I just decided to look at everybody just for who they are as a person.
Yeah.
So now, of course, there were some bad eggs, and we had our conversations, but conversation was it, right? And then nothing else went further than that. And but outside of those, just few people, like everybody else was cool. So I mean, for me, it's just not judging the whole group off of just the one individual that I was dealing with. So it's more so.
That's really profound, right? Not making the generalization of a group of people, right? But, and I'm sure it's just the opposite too, right? Of people from another race and different culture, right? That they would look upon you and make a generalization or an assumption, right?
Yeah.
So that's profound.
Now I did get a lot of questions. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
I got every single question you can imagine. In locker room, I won't even discuss.
Sure.
That's a discussion I won't have.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that was funny.
So when you graduated high school, did you pursue a basketball career in college? Or what happened there?
So I did go to college for almost a semester, but while I went there, I had chose to go to a private school. Some told me to go to the other school, but I was like, I'm gonna go to this one because at that time I was like, well, I really wanted to be closer to my girlfriend at that time. So I was like, I'll stay in Dallas and I can just go to Nocona, see her sometimes. Yeah, I'll go here. Obviously that didn't work out. And when I was there, my mom, because of her jobs and stuff, she didn't really make a whole lot, so she sent me enough just for like my phone bill. So then I said, I suck at grades because I'm too focused on how to get more money. And then also the coach with basketball training, you was gonna work every single morning. You had 3 practices a day. I was like, I don't have the time. So I went to a Wells Fargo, I was getting some money out, and I met this Marine recruiter there. How ironic. And he's like, so how would you like to be in the Marine Corps? And so I told him, I was like, sign me up.
Right there on the spot.
Yeah. Like, I was like, he's like, I don't know if you're flat-footed. I was a little flat-footed. I don't know. I don't know if that even means anything. But he, I went, signed up, and I joined as a field radio operator.
Okay.
So the guy that does the airstrikes and medivacs, that kind of, stuff.
Wow. So how long did you serve?
I did 4 years.
4 years. All right. Well, thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. So what was that like, being in the Marines? I hear they've got some pretty intense training.
It's pretty intense, but for me, with the yelling part, that was nothing for me. Just growing up and stuff, like I said, my godmother was much more strict. So when it came to their yelling and their antics, I'm gonna choke you. I'm like, you get out my face. You ain't gonna do nothing. Right. Like, you can't touch me. So, but outside of that, it was cool. And, going in and going to like training and then learning my MOS, doing like the combat training. My favorite thing was being out in the range, shooting rifles.
Okay.
So.
Did you get pretty good at that? Yeah.
I still shoot now.
Do you?
Yep. I have my rifle. I keep it in my car. I go to the range, that kind of stuff.
Okay. Which range is your favorite range around here?
Well, I'm about to start checking out Frisco Gun Club, but I've been going to like Eagle Gun Club, which is like 25 yards, and I'm like, no. But I met a Marine recently, and he has one where it goes up to 1,000 yards that he told me about, so I'm gonna go check that out.
Okay. So what years did you serve?
2013 to about 2017, yeah.
Okay. And do you have any, what's one thing that you could share with the audience and with me about, what did you learn? What's the biggest takeaway that you had from serving in the Marines?
Mission accomplishment.
Okay. And what does that mean to you?
So to me, mission accomplishment, you get the job done. Like, if you have a mission, you focus on that mission, you keep doing it, you be persistent about it, and you get it done.
What if things get in your way?
You move out the way, you get it done. Like, you find a way to get it done.
Okay.
Yep.
Is it all about you and what you can do, or do you work as a team and with others to accomplish the mission?
So, yes, you're working with a team. And so, obviously, with a team, the whole focus with them is getting it done. The reason why I say that is because I speak more from a standpoint of with my business. I run it myself. I founded it. So, for me, I'm speaking solo. Like, myself is still mission accomplishment, but obviously having people work with me, then as a team, we're getting the job done.
Sure. And a lot of times that makes it a lot easier to do too, right? When you have somebody else there. Yeah.
A whole lot easier.
Yeah. I mean, I find that in my real estate business. Like, I've been a solo agent for, many years, and then brought on somebody onto my team in the last year, and it's made my life a lot easier with paperwork and working with clients when I get a lot of business coming in at one time. So it helps out a lot to build that team.
Yep.
So mission accomplishment. I like that. So once you got out of the military, what did you do after that?
Started learning real estate.
Okay, what part of real estate? Did you get your real estate license?
No, didn't get my license.
Okay.
So this was backtrack, I got into personal training.
Okay.
So that's
like
how
became a personal trainer?
Yeah, became a personal trainer. That's
Okay.
actually how I even got this size. I spent 4 hours in the gym just working out all the time between, clients and stuff.
Sure.
Because I didn't want to drive back and forth, so I was like, I'll just stay up here and work out while I wait.
While you wait. Yeah.
So did that for 2 years, but I was learning real estate as I was doing it because I always wanted to get into real estate.
Okay.
And so I started off as a wholesaler, and my first deal, went out there, sold the property, made $10,000 on it, and then sold another one 3 weeks later, and did a double close on that and made $15,000 on that one. So I was like, hold on, like I was like, in the Marine Corps, people getting shot at for $25,000 a year. I just did this in like a month. So I was like, okay, well, let me keep doing more of this here. And so fast forward to like 2021, I started wholesale. I got used to it, started doing more consistent, had found a new way of wholesaling.
Okay.
Something they call like astro flipping. I learned it from this guy named Jamil. So started doing that, and then sold 20 plus properties that year, and then decided to transition to multifamily at the end of 2021 though, because I was like, I actually want equity, I want ownership. So, and I don't want to own single family properties. I said I only want to own apartment buildings. So that whole year I was asking myself, how can I own apartment buildings? What's the best way for me to do this here?
So for the audience, if you can bring it down to elementary level of what is a wholesaler when it comes to real estate.
Okay.
What do wholesalers do?
So wholesalers, what they do is you'll either cold call or text a pre-foreclosure list, people who might be going through probate, someone passed away, find the affidavit of heirships, people who have a motivation to sell, some type of underlying pain to I need to sell this property now.
Right.
So you're cold calling them, you're texting them, you're on the phone, hey, I see you're kind of going through this here, would you like to sell this property? Then you get it under contract. Instead of you closing on it yourself, you take it and you send it out to some cash buyers, and they will say, hey, I'll pay cash for it. In reality, they're paying cash, but they're actually going to get a hard money loan. It's not the same miles, but hey, they go get the hard money loan and they pay for the property, and you get paid right then and there.
Okay.
Somewhere anywhere between 2 to 3 weeks, depending on how long it takes title to get everything clear and closed.
Right. Right. And they typically happen pretty fast because, like you said, you have found people who need to sell, not so much want to sell.
Yes,
right?
yeah. People not I want to, but I want this price. It's people I need to, and I'll take what I can get.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So you'll see some wholesalers, they might make $50,000 wholesale fees. I saw somebody post on Facebook once, they made $400,000 on a wholesale fee.
What?
I wonder, I don't know if that's right, but hey, I won't get into morality of it.
Yeah. So I remember when we were on the phone, you were like, a lot of people don't like wholesalers,
Yeah,
within our industry, right? So,
This guy told me once when I was telling him about investing in my fund, he was like, he's like, don't tell me you used to be a wholesaler, because I hate wholesalers. He's like, because it's just not ethical in my eyes. And so I was like, well, I was never a wholesaler. Do you want to invest? Yep. I see nothing.
Right,
Yep.
right. Fantastic. So what is this? What did you call the type of flipping? Astro flipping?
Yep. This guy.
So what is that concept?
So this guy, he has a brand called Astro Flipping. His name is Jamil Damji.
Okay.
And I was actually on his podcast once. He was telling me, this is right before I went to Tanzania. He was telling me that his family came from there. He's Indian, and you see quite a few like Indian and Arab people in Tanzania. So yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, like his course is about, I don't know how much it is now, but it was like $8,000, $700-$800 during that time. And you pay for it, you go through, you learn, and then you start implementing it.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. So you mentioned a fund and things that you're doing now. So tell me about, what are your plans for 2023 with your business?
So my plan for 2023 is to raise capital, close out this fund to new investors, and to acquire at least 1,000 units, 1,000 multifamily units this year.
Multifamily. Okay. So,
As an equity partner.
okay.
So I already have deals. I have people I work with that have experience, 15, 20 years of experience. So for me, it's mainly just get more equity and just provide the equity to their deals.
Yeah. So how did you get into, what was the fascination with real estate in the beginning?
In the beginning,
Like
when I first got started,
when you first, yeah. So did you know somebody in real estate? Did you hear about a seminar? Like,
I went to a Robert Kiyosaki seminar.
oh, did you?
Yep. And it was like, I saw people pulling out their credit cards, swiping. My girlfriend, she's not my wife, but my girlfriend at the time, she was like literally like, hey, you should come to this here meeting. I think you'll be good at real estate.
Yeah.
I went there, I saw multifamily, but then I saw wholesaling, also flipping houses. I said, I never want to flip houses. That's way too much work. I saw wholesaling. I was like, well, I don't have much cash, but this will get me some cash. And so that's kind of how I started learning more in depth about that. But the end goal was always get into multifamily and start building wealth.
Yeah. Wow, fantastic.
So ultimately, like in 2021, I went to Think MultiFamily Event. I'm not sure if you ever heard of them. Yep. But not too many people heard of them. Yeah, it depends. If you're in multifamily, then you would know who they are.
Sure.
But I went to one of their events, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna, pay for their mentorship. I go there, it's like, yeah, it's $30,000 for their mentorship. I was like, yeah, dang, that's 3 times more than what I paid for the other mentorship. I was like, man, I don't know, do I want to pay for this? Do I want to? But anyway, I met this guy. He was their equity partner there, and so we started talking, and then a couple months go by. He tells me more about what he does. I go to his house, sit down with him, meet his wife, meet some of his kids, and then he was like, would you want to raise capital? You want to have your own fund? It's like, no brainer. 4 years ago, I said I wanted to own a fund, but I just didn't know what I wanted to acquire in the fund. So when the opportunity came to where now I can own a fund and I can acquire multifamily, I was like, yes, how much does that cost? Who would I need to speak to?
Yeah.
So he put me with his attorneys, and we went from there.
So what is the process for owning a fund? Like, do you have to have a special securities license or anything like that, or?
You have to get registered with the Security and Exchange Commission.
Okay.
So you're regulated by them. Like, basically, I can't just go take your money and run off to Saudi Arabia.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the SEC is who's actually taking down the FTX guy.
Right.
They found him in the Bahamas or Cayman Islands, wherever they found him at. So they will find you.
Yeah, they will find you.
They will find you.
Have you, not to change the subject, but you mentioned FTX. Are you into cryptocurrency? No.
I hate crypto.
You hate crypto.
It was it was so new. I was like, I saw people making money in it, but I was like, if it's not real estate, I don't care for it, because anything that has like red days where you can lose money, I don't like the concept of losing money. I used to trade Forex, so I know what it feels like to lose money, and then you lost it. You can't go and say, hey, give my money back.
Right.
You just lost it, and that's a bad feeling. So I'm like, I don't care for that.
Yeah, for sure. So along the way, it sounds like you have grown your business quite a bit from the young days of wholesaling, right? Of making the $15,000 in a month to today. and what you plan on doing of acquiring the 100 units in 2023.
Well, want to go more like 500 to 1,000 units in 2023.
Oh, okay. All right. Fantastic. So if you wanted, so how did you get from point A to point B? What's your motivating factor? What is your big why?
My big why?
Yeah.
So I would say my biggest why, and this kind of happened when I got to meet Mark Cuban at Lifetime Fitness in Highland Park. And we was playing basketball, and my first time meeting him, I hit a three and I looked down and I realized, wait, this is Mark Cuban I just hit a three on. I was like, hold up. I was like, what you doing here? He's like, no, he's been coming here since it was Premier Place. So we started talking, and I told him, I was like, dude, I want to be a billionaire. He's like, it's a lot of work. I was like, well, that's what I do. I was like, I like to work. For me, it's, the thing for me is just actually putting in the work every day is something that I like. I enjoy doing what I do as far as working.
Right.
Like if I didn't work on what I'm doing, then I'm like, I just wouldn't even, like, what would I be doing?
Yeah, you got to be passionate about what you do, right? Yeah. So you want to be a billionaire.
Yeah, and then but beyond that, to even like how I go to Tanzania, and something that we do, me and my wife, we take stuff over there like clothes, school supplies to an orphanage there whenever we go visit.
Okay.
So to even scale that up, and if you want to do that, you have to get more income or get more people that can help.
Yeah. So any of the viewers and listeners that are, with us today, how do you decipher if somebody's a good investor or a good person to, put money into the fund and things of that nature? Is there a full process that you go through with each individual? What does that look like?
I sit down, really get to know the person. Do I actually like them? Do they actually like me? Are we aligned? If I feel like they're going to be calling me every 5 minutes, what's my money doing? What's my money doing? What's my money doing? I'm like, I don't want your money.
Right.
You keep that 100, 200,000.
Right.
So it's more so just the trust factor as well. And then also something else that I do personally is I even watch I'll have a conversation, kind of like, what is their lifestyle like? Right? Like if it's a guy and he's not very focused with his lifestyle, I'm not going to accept his money because I don't want him getting into some stuff and then it reflects on me and I'm guilty by association. But why was you working with this guy? No, I don't want to work with.
Yeah.
Just nip it in the bud.
Yeah. Okay. So you're going to send a video that you recently had made. So I'm assuming there's some contact information on there that people that see that will be able to. Yeah.
There are a few misconceptions about real estate investing. One is that you have to self-manage your properties and as a landlord, deal with toilets and tenants. Another is that you can only earn passive income through one single family investment at a time. There is a better way. I'm Joseph Kimbrough, CEO and founder of Apex Real Estate Investments. Apex REI provides its investors with passive income opportunities that yield above market returns and a hedge against inflation. We want to help you invest wisely in order to set your future free. Here's what you can do today. Click on the Invest with Apex button and register on our investor portal. This will give you access to exclusive multifamily investing opportunities that have been analyzed and approved by Apex REI. Also, take advantage of our free resource, a guide to investing with a retirement account. You're taking the first steps to start living your dreams sooner rather than later, so I want to congratulate you for taking action. Talk to you soon.
Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to the Matt Hilton Show today. That was part 1 of our interview with Joseph Kimbrough. Stay tuned next week as we hear the rest of his story. Take care.
If you'd like to contact Matt or know a fascinating person with an inspiring story that would make a great guest, reach out to the show at themattHiltonshow@gmail.com.